From preps to pros and everything in between, it's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Live from the Lee Company studio. With the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yao.
Welcome into Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. On this Hump Day edition, it is Wednesday, Wild and Wacky Wednesday, coming to you from the Lee Company studio as we get ready for another week of high school football playoffs, another week of college football importance. A lot of important games this weekend, which is unusual. So I'm excited. Got a lot going on. Tons of stories to get to. Tons of news coming out today. So, like I said, a lot to get into. But first, Mo, how's it going?
It's good. It's good. It's a Wednesday, so we're on the backside of the week, I guess, or getting there. So, like you said, big day today. A lot going on.
Tons going on, and we're going to get into it. And we didn't get any additional decoration today, Mo. Sorry. I do have 2 of those posters framed, though, JP.
That's a start.
So
I like it.
2 of 5.
Our own
2 out of 5 ain't bad, I guess.
our own wall of champions, maybe
Wall
we can
of
call
champions. Yeah, that's good.
it. Yeah.
Know what we're going to do with the other 2 that won championships this year. We'll figure that out later.
We got plenty of space.
Space everywhere.
Yeah, we got plenty of space. You win a state championship, you get a poster.
You get a poster.
You get a poster.
Oh, man, we got a lot to get to, so let's get into it. But first, yesterday's results, today's schedule on the rundown.
What day is today?
Wednesday.
Thank you very much. Here's the rundown.
In high school bowling action on Tuesday, that was yesterday, Columbia Academy defeated Ensworth 22-1. High school basketball action Tuesday night. In girls action, it was Hampshire defeating Cascade 57-49. Independence girls defeated Friendship Christian 73-38. Eagleville's girls down Mount Pleasant 70-28. It was Culleoka's Lady Warriors defeating Riverside Christian 50-30 in Catherine Upshaw's debut. Fairview's girls down Santa Fe 49-34, and Wayne County girls defeated Zion Christian 59-12.
In boys action, Santa Fe goes to Fairview, gets the 63-57 win last night. Cascade with a 69-19 win over Hampshire. It was Independence 68, Friendship Christian 47. Full story on MainStreetPreps.com and MainStreetMurray.com.
Not necessarily in that order.
Eagleville boys 53, Mount Pleasant 38. It was Culleoka 73 and Riverside Christian 50, and Zion Christian's boys with a 49-43 win over Wayne County.
In National Hockey League play on Tuesday night, the Toronto Maple Leafs shut out the Nashville Predators 3-0. NCAA men's basketball action, Middle Tennessee State improves to 3-0 with a 76-65 win over visiting Winthrop. In Maction Tuesday night, Toledo defeated Ohio 35-23. Eastern Michigan edged Western Michigan 22-21. And the Redhawks of Miami, Ohio defeated Bowling Green 34-7.
In tonight's action, we'll keep it in Maction. What do you say? Northern Illinois is at Buffalo. That's a 6 o'clock kick on ESPN2. And then Central Michigan is at Ball State at 6 o'clock on ESPNU. So 2 and U. Either one of those at 6 o'clock, you'll catch some action.
There you go.
In high school bowling action right now, it's Lawrence County's boys are up at Ten Pin Alley taking on Spring Hill. Southwest Tennessee is at Columbia State tonight. If you have no, are they allowing fans? If you got nothing to do, that's a game you might want to get to. 7:30 men's, 5:30 women. Southwest Tennessee and Columbia State do not like each other, and it's worth the price of admission. NCAA men action tonight. VCU is at Vanderbilt at 7 o'clock on ESPN+. That's going to do it for your rundown on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. I did not know that Southwest Tennessee game was tonight. I might have made plans.
There's that.
Oof. Yeah. Anyway. Top story, Mo, coming out of today is pretty. This came out of nowhere.
It really did. It's interesting. In our coverage of Independence's basketball openers last night against Friendship Christian, I mentioned the start of a new basketball era with first-year coaches Mark Wilkins on the boys' side and Tony Hill on the girls' side. Less than 24 hours later, we learned that it's the end of an era at Independence as Scott Blade announced he will step down, or it was announced that Scott Blade would step down after 9 seasons at the football helm at Independence. 74-37 in 9 years, including a 2015 Class 5A state championship and a runner-up in 5A the following year. 9 seasons at Indy, following 4 at Oak Ridge and 3 at Hillsboro, where he also won a state championship back in 2008. So Blade, 4 state championship game appearances, 2 gold balls in 16 seasons, overall record of 146-57 at Indy, Oak Ridge, and Hillsboro. And, really came in and elevated that Independence program, and it felt like just kind of elevated Williamson County football as a whole. It was like everybody else kind of came up at that same time. Ravenwood was really starting to get their situation going. They won a state championship during that same stretch. I don't know that Williamson County football has faded since then, but certainly that was kind of the start of it across the county starting to rise up, it feels like. And he's been a big part of that. I think it was a get better or get beat to some degree while he was there. And so I think you have to credit what Scott did at Independence with a lot of the advent of Williamson County football across the county.
I completely agree. I mean, obviously I didn't get here till 17, but if you go back and you just kind of look at Williamson County football as a whole before 2013, 2014, it wasn't really anything special.
They would have some blips.
Franklin and Brentwood played a bunch in the quarterfinals or whatever.
Franklin made a couple of state championship game appearances. Brentwood went. They won one, I think, in Ron Crawford's first year there, but that was back in the early mid-2000s. But for the most part, there was no great year-to-year impact that Williamson County football was having. And again, Independence came along. Ravenwood came along. Brentwood kind of got to that level and kind of stayed there. And all of that, I think, has kind of led to what Summit has done and is doing. Will Hester coming back has Ravenwood quickly back in that position again, those two playing each other Friday night in Spring Hill. But I really do just feel like I don't want to necessarily say it started with Independence and Scott Blade, but I think he certainly kind of enhanced it.
Again, the county-wide aspect of it. I mean, obviously, Franklin and Brentwood, they had been schools for a long time, and then you had Ravenwood that popped up, Independence popped up. Obviously, Page had been, which now, again, Page even in the quarterfinals this week. I mean, it just kind of felt like, when that started, and it wasn't necessarily just Scott, it was also Will, and the emphasis that Williamson County started putting on athletics and football specifically at that point.
Yeah.
And he was part of that.
Absolutely.
So pretty cool. I hate to see him go, but wish him the best whatever he decides to do. Certainly some speculation out there. So
there will definitely be speculation.
Be looking forward to see who Independence goes after to hire. Oof.
Nikki Patton, Dr. Nikki Patton, no relation.
Quit lying. We know.
Well, I mean, anybody that knows me and knows her, but I mean, she's a doctor, so you know. Anyway, I love Coach Blade and Sherry, and I'm so grateful for everything they've done for the Indy community. It extends well beyond football. Coach Blade deserves many accolades as a football coach, but he is an even better person, and I value our friendship. Independence is a special place, and Coach Blade has certainly been an integral part of Indy Nation. He has established and propelled our football program to an elite level, and our goal for his replacement is to continue to build upon the championship culture that Coach Blade has cultivated. We are sad to see Coach Blade go, but we are still excited about our returning players and our program's future. So
he left it better than he found it.
No question.
It's interesting that you can say that a team that went 4-7 in his final year, that has nothing to do with it. I mean, he has built a legacy and a program over there, not just teams. And that's what's important.
And the thing is, I think anybody getting ready to play a Scott Blade coached Independence team knew that they were going to have to play for 48 minutes. And I think that's as big a compliment as you can give a coach in a program.
There you go.
It will certainly be interesting to see what direction they go in, but hate to see them go for sure.
More Williamson County football. Keaton Wade, the standout linebacker for Summit, held a little reveal today over at the school where he received his jersey for the All-American Bowl.
Yeah, he will participate in the January 8th contest out at San Antonio that will be nationally televised on NBC. Pretty exciting. Good times.
That's awesome, man. I mean, I think he's probably the first All-American I've ever covered. I mean, so of course not a lot of All-Americans coming through Walker County, Alabama. So
get your game up, Walker County. No, no, that's a great honor.
It is cool.
Yeah, it is.
And speaking of Walker County, there's not a baseball program at the Summerton campus. We have the softball program. But Mason Raffoff headed to Bevel State, and I guess he's going to Fayette because that's where the baseball program is for Bevel State.
I did not know where Bevel State was.
Well, there are several campuses. Each one has a different program. So Jasper has basketball, Fayette has baseball, Summerton has softball, and Hamilton has track. They have one program per. Yeah, it's interesting. Never heard of that one, huh? Do you, Bevel? Yeah. No, he's gonna pitch. The Columbia Academy left-hander will pitch for Bevel next year.
Well, next year being 2023. He's a senior this year.
Next school year.
Yeah. So he will be the number 2 starter for Columbia Academy this spring.
Correct.
Yeah. Coming off of a 6-2 junior year with a 1.81 ERA and 47 strikeouts in 38 2/3 innings. So solid.
Looking forward to the CA baseball season.
Looking forward to baseball season because it'll be warm again.
Well, there's that.
Yeah. Shut up, JP.
Listen, there's a lot of college football to talk about. We got some coaching contracts are getting nuts. Matt Brown, from our friend from Extra Point, says money isn't real. We'll tell you what the money looks like on the other side of the break. Stick around. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today returns after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Covering the teams you care about. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Once again, live from the Lee Company studio with the Hall of Famer Mo Patton. Here's Chris Yao.
Welcome back in Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton, JP Plant here with you on this Wednesday edition. Yes, it is Wednesday. Getting ready to talk a little college football coaching carousel. Because a lot of rumors out there, folks. Yeah, the carousel.
This would fit.
We'll hear this later on Wild and Wacky, too. All right, so let's just jump into this first. Shane Beamer, after we talked about him yesterday, says no chance he's going to Virginia Tech. His kid that's in second grade is going to graduate high school in Columbia, South Carolina. Now, you think that's at all possible?
Nope.
Nope. Let's see what he had to say, though, because here's the thing, is he basically said, look, I spent my time there. So, interesting comments that he made in his press conference today or yesterday, either one.
Certainly, you hate to ever see anyone lose their job. So tough from that standpoint. Obviously, I love Virginia Tech. I moved there when I was 10 years old. I went to high school there. I went to college there. I coached there. My parents still live there. So I have special memories of my time in Blacksburg, and that'll always be, special to me. But this is where I want to be. When I said this was my dream job, I wasn't just saying that to make it sound cool in a press conference or to get the job. This is where my wife and I and my family want to be. We didn't put that sign up over there in Williams-Brice Stadium that said "Welcome Home" just because it was trendy and a slogan. This is home for me, and I want to be the head football coach here at South Carolina. I love working for Ray Tanner and Chance Miller. They are fantastic, and we have an amazing relationship. I love this state. I want to live in this state. I love this city. I want to live in this city. I told our team a couple weeks ago, my son Hunter, he's in second grade, I guess. I want him to graduate high school from here in Columbia, and this is where I want to be. We're just getting started. Recruiting is going amazingly well. There's a lot of energy about this program right now. There's a lot of excitement about this program right now. My goal is to bring an SEC championship here to Columbia, and we're just in the beginning stages of it. So, no, I'm the head coach at South Carolina. I want to be the head coach at South Carolina. And then, probably beyond any of that is we use the word love around here a lot, and I love coaching these kids, and couldn't imagine not coaching these guys, and love what they're about, and love being their head football coach.
Now, a lot of stuff in there to unpack. One, how is South Carolina Shane Beamer's dream job? All right. Two, how is it home? You just said you grew up in Blacksburg. Your family lives there. Quit lying, bruh. I mean, let's be honest. Come on now. Tell me how any of that can be true.
Because that's where he is right now. And that's the safe thing to say right now. But I will tell you that out of every FBS football program right now, there are, I think, 10 guys I counted because I lost track, but it's right at 10 guys who have been in their positions for at least 10 years. One of whom is Rick Stockstill, but that's another story for another day. 10 guys that have been there long enough for their second grade kid to graduate from high school in that town. So 10 out of 130.
And in the SEC, that doesn't happen a lot.
Saban.
And that's it.
And Saban. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hey.
So, I mean, the chances are not great that young Master Beamer will graduate high school in Columbia, South Carolina. But
the odds are against it. Now, hey, go figure. Maybe he gets fired and sticks around. I don't know. Look, I mean, it's home after all.
It's home.
I don't know. Okay, so this kind of leads me into the question that I wanted to ask you guys, because I was listening to another sports talk show this morning, And basically what was said is that it doesn't matter what is said during a press conference or as far as a coach. After a coach gets up there and says, go team, and, here's what it's going to be like, every fan base is fired up. Can you recall a time when a fan base was not happy about a hire? Like, completely over from there weren't anybody who
Tennessee.
said, when? Heupel?
No.
Pruitt.
No. But
They didn't hire him. He didn't rah-rah at the press conference.
well,
Did they? No, they didn't hire him.
okay, all right. You're putting a stipulation on that, but
I mean, that's,
press conference maybe, but
the question is, have you ever seen a press conference and then the reaction of the fan base is, this is the worst thing we could have ever possibly done?
No, not that I can remember. Not off the top of my head, certainly. I mean, I can't think.
I mean, Schiano is the only thing.
But again, there wasn't a press conference. He
right.
wasn't hired.
He didn't get. Yeah, there was no rah-rah. There was no things are going to be this way. Blah blah blah.
yeah, per your question, all of that didn't happen because it was preempted by the fans that said this is the worst thing that could have ever happened.
So there you go.
Had he been hired, it still would have been that reaction, I think.
Yeah. Yes.
That would have been the one time.
Oh, it was going to be. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Obviously.
how they reacted before was exactly how they were going to react after.
It's going to be worse.
Probably. It probably would have been worse. So, that's interesting to me. Now, in the world of college football and where we currently stand, speaking of Tennessee, is LSU trying to sabotage Tennessee?
Is LSU trying to sabotage Tennessee?
Yeah.
I don't think LSU's trying to sabotage anybody. I think LSU's trying to find a coach.
They got enough to
And if they
handle
wind
with.
up sabotaging somebody in the process, hey, so be it. But where are you going with that?
Well, if you hire Lincoln Riley, Oklahoma suddenly becomes available.
Connecting those dots,
where
huh?
Josh Heupel just happened to play quarterback.
That's a fair question.
I'm not saying that,
again, that's going to happen as some of these positions start to get filled. Some other positions are going to come open. There's going to be some dominoes that get knocked over. I don't think Lincoln Riley's leaving Oklahoma.
reports say LSU offering 8 years, $86 million, and it's a chance to be in the SEC. Now,
he's going to be in the SEC anyway.
And that's where I was going. Now you're going to be in the SEC anyway, but I think there's a difference between what Lincoln Riley has recruited versus what LSU probably has recruited, and the only thing that they're missing down there is a quarterback.
Well, is he going to split that $86 million with Caleb Williams?
I bet there's a car dealership
I bet
in
there's
Baton Rouge.
somebody down there that'll give him an NLI deal.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I don't think Lincoln Riley's going to Oklahoma.
Or LSU.
Wherever.
That too. I don't either. I don't think there's any reason to leave Oklahoma, especially for a program that is not in a great position. So,
well, let's look at it from this perspective then, real quick. Just not the way things are right now. Which program is the better program when you look at fan support, you look at potential for recruiting? Which do you think is the better coaching spot?
I think LSU is the better coaching spot.
I think they're the same. I think they're on an even playing field.
I think LSU has a slight edge too. I just think because of being in Louisiana, you can build a national champion
without leaving the state.
Yeah. I think that goes a long way, and it's while Oklahoma is perennially a power. And here's another thing. Do you think Oklahoma will continue to have the same success once they get to the SEC as they have in the Big 12?
That's a hell of a question.
And so, are you better suited to
That's what I just said.
play the SEC from LSU? Then yes.
That was my point.
I see that point. I still don't think Lincoln Riley's leaving, but I think LSU is a better situation.
I do too.
All right,
If he thinks it is, plus you're getting $86 million. Hey,
Well,
and I tell you what,
either way, he's going to get paid now. Either LSU or Oklahoma's going to give him a deal.
and I don't know where Baton Rouge's proximity to New Orleans comes into the recruiting aspect of LSU, but it has to somewhere.
there's two things. Oklahoma, much like Alabama, is the only game in town. Okay? Baton Rouge, LSU is not that way. You know, LSU has to deal with at least the Saints.
Mhm.
Oklahoma has to deal with none of that. Everybody within 100 miles. I know that there's a lot of Cowboys fans there. I get that.
I don't know. No,
But Oklahomans, as far as Oklahoma is concerned, they are the number one end-all be-all.
I think LSU is the top dog in that state over the Saints, just like Georgia is over the Falcons. Louisiana is an LSU state, not a Saints state. The city of New Orleans is a Saints town. The state of Louisiana is a Tiger state. And it's, I think it's, you could toss it up in New Orleans.
I don't know. I mean, my point to that is that you don't have to compete at all. Not that it matters.
What are you competing against the NFL for?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not sure that it matters. I'm just saying that there is that you're the only game in town when you're competing with money and that sort of thing. I mean, season tickets, whatever. I mean, LSU doesn't have that problem, but LSU doesn't have that problem because they've won national championships and they've built that program over the last 2 decades.
Because they're the only game in town.
Since Nick Saban. Well, no, Nick Saban's the reason. If Nick Saban had never gone to LSU would still be trash can juice.
No.
Yes. They were trash can juice before. They would have been trash can juice.
LSU has a long history of being good, Chris.
Define good.
It's a lot. They have a tradition well before Nick Saban. Now, it has gone to another level since Saban and with Saban, but
Saban brought it back. Saban brought it back, but
it had been down for a long time.
There had been good football played at LSU before Nick Saban. Not immediately before, but before.
Yeah.
He brought it back.
Decades before.
A while ago.
Which is why I think Oklahoma, Bob Stoops is their Nick Saban, right? Oklahoma was trash for 2 decades before Bob Stoops got there.
Yep.
That's why I said they're on equal playing field. Mm-hmm. They've won this. I mean, LSU's won what? One additional national championship?
Well, for the most part.
2, I guess.
For the most part, there's a lot of college football programs that have that same type ebb and flow in their history.
Alabama included, I mean.
Sure. So I don't know how much you can necessarily ding a program for not being consistently competitive throughout their history.
But again, the point is that I think they're even, and all things being even, if I'm going to coach in the SEC, I want to do it with SEC football players, not Big 12 football players.
Yeah,
that's my
agree.
Point. I can find a quarterback. I'm Lincoln Riley. I've made 3 of them Heisman finalists.
You got offensive, defensive linemen, quarterbacks, receivers, all over the place.
We got it all
in Louisiana.
So
just need to get through Joe Burrows.
And you got $86 million to do it with.
Yep. It's worth a shot. It would be surprising, Mo, if he left, but it's an awful appealing deal.
It really is. I'll tell you what, let's just keep talking college football coaches on the other side of the breaks. Stick around. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today returns after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Local high school sports and beyond. It's on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today.
Welcome back in Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. Just looking over some of these potential names that are just being dropped on Twitter and by the worldwide leader and et cetera.
For what?
For coaching vacancies.
Just in general,
random.
No particular coaching vacancy.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm just looking over all of these certain things. Like, get this, and you just we talked about him yesterday. We did not talk about him in connection with this job, but potential at LSU is Alabama offensive coordinator Bill O'Brien.
Oh boy.
Well, he can't trade away his best receiver
Or running back.
and running back. And had success at the college rank.
Yeah.
I mean, relative success at Penn State coming off what they had to deal with, but
I just feel like whoever brings on Bill O'Brien as a head coach, you got to realize that he's coming in with that eye on the next job. So I mean, if you're ready to deal with that, then I mean that's fine.
Yeah, he feels like an NFL guy.
Mm-hmm.
College is just his conduit back to the NFL.
see, and I think that's why he's a coordinator too. I don't think he wants to be a college coach
Yeah.
because you have to do so much of the recruiting stuff. He wants to be an NFL head coach.
He wants
No.
to do X's and O's.
Here's the thing. I don't think he's going to get another job in the NFL, not as a head coach.
Not for a while. He'll have to.
I don't think 1 year of the Saban rehab facility is going to be enough for that.
Yeah,
That
not
was
for
the most-
NFL.
That was the most interesting name that popped up when I was perusing.
That is an interesting name.
It is.
And clearly, JP's an LSU fan over here with his purple and gold lights on his board. Here is some other names that are out there.
Okay.
Matt Campbell, Billy Napier, Lane Kiffin, Mel Tucker. Mel Tucker's not coming. He's getting 10 years, $95 million, $96 million. 95.
95.
Yeah. Hey, what's a couple million with when you're almost
What?
at 100?
Exactly.
What's a couple million among friends?
That's what I was thinking yesterday when Chip kept saying 90 to $100 million, and I'm like, yeah, what's $10 million?
At that point,
I was like, my goodness, y'all couldn't narrow it down a little closer.
it's
than
just
10
a number
million?
at that point. Yep.
It
just a
really
number.
is. Oh man. And I know we don't really care much about Washington State, but I was mentioning this off the air. Jake Dickert likely a candidate to get the permanent role as he is currently interim at Washington State. But one of the names that they threw out there as a potential was Joe Moorhead, former Mississippi State head coach. And I
Current
said,
Oregon OC.
Oregon offensive coordinator currently. I said you can't judge Joe Moorhead off of what he did at Mississippi State because it's Mississippi State.
It wasn't horrible. It wasn't great.
It
but
wasn't great, certainly.
No, it wasn't great.
But he also had to deal with a really good LSU team.
Yeah.
Well, I
and-
had to deal with a pretty good SEC West.
yeah.
The SEC
As a
West,
whole.
as a whole at that time was really good.
And coming out of Dan Mullen, who had just taken that program to the number one ranked team in the country. So talk about lofty expectations out of whack.
Yeah.
Mississippi State fans thinking that was normal.
And Dak Prescott wasn't walking through that door.
No. Yeah.
So, I mean, their quarterback at one time was that kid from East Mississippi Community College, wasn't it?
That's right.
The kid that was
From the first season.
yeah, that was the
Real
first.
country. Like,
So I mean,
Uh-huh.
The one that had to be talked in to continuing to play.
Yeah.
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 that guy.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, I think he would be good for the Pac-12.
That seems like a good fit for him for whatever reason. I don't know why, but yeah.
I mean, it's a pro style. He's a pro
Mhm.
guy. I
Yeah.
mean, he comes from the pro ranks. So I mean, you know, that West Coast style really fits
Yeah.
what he likes to do. So I could see him being a potential candidate for Washington or Washington State. So, and that's the only reason I cared to throw that out there. Apparently, Sonny Dykes is pretty much the top guy on TCU's list. So that should be interesting. And apparently, Jamie Chadwell getting a lot of love
At TCU.
for Virginia Tech.
Oh.
Napier at TCU.
Okay.
Chadwell at Virginia Tech.
Hmm.
That one's interesting to me.
That's interesting to me. Jamie Chadwell is interesting to me because I thought he had some legitimate opportunities last year and didn't move. And I'm not sure. I don't know what the biggest situation was that he had last year, but I feel like it was better than Virginia Tech.
Probably.
So what concerns me, again, is when you are that mid-major hot guy, you got to go.
Better strike.
Well, here's the thing. You know why he didn't?
Because Grayson McCall was coming back?
Well, he's a freshman. I mean, he had 3 more years of one of the best quarterbacks in the country. And this year he gets hurt. So there you go. I mean, at this point, if Virginia Tech's calling, I think I'm answering the phone at least, right?
Oh, you take the call. You always take the call. I mean, you never know what somebody's going to throw at you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just polite. Take the call.
Here's the name I'm going to throw out at you, and this is for any job that's especially in our general vicinity. Hugh Freeze.
So that's a who. Somebody will take a flyer on.
He almost wouldn't have to sell his house.
If he went to Virginia Tech, absolutely not.
Yeah.
So my question is, has it been enough time? Has he paid his dues at Liberty long enough?
Well, I mean, it depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
And, I guess the question is to the Virginia Tech.
How desperate are you that is going to hire him?
But
I mean, that's the question.
I mean, how desperate do you have to be? Is the question. The question is it a desperation hire, or are you saying Hugh Freeze has done his time? He is clear. We're not going to give him any cell phones.
It's a desperation hire, and you're going to say all that.
Really?
But,
I don't think he's a desperate. I think he's a great football coach. I think a lot of teams could do a lot worse.
I think he's a great football coach with some baggage, and I think there are going to be pockets in whatever fan base brings him on that you're going to have to sell on him.
Oh yeah.
Okay, but I don't think it's a bottom of the barrel last ditch kind of guy.
I don't either.
I think he's a second or third call.
Better than a lot of coaches. He's got a lot of stuff going on. And not everybody's going to want that for their program.
Sure.
Yeah, it's got to be the right fit. I mean,
what would be
obviously
the best fit? Who wants to win bad enough that would deal with it?
I don't think Vitek is that place.
I don't either.
I don't either.
I'm not sure anywhere in the ACC is.
Boom. Exactly. I think it's got to be more cutthroat.
Yeah.
I.e.
LSU.
I think in LSU, but I think LSU probably feels like they can get better candidates.
Yeah.
But I think.
But if the dominoes start falling,
Mm-hmm.
and next thing you know, South Carolina or whatever ends up.
Here you go. Harsin goes back to Washington. Hugh Freeze is a fit at Auburn.
100%.
Yes.
Because they're one of those. They're an organization, and I say organization as a university, but they're the way that they handle their business is all internal, and they have the AU family, the all in,
Mm-hmm.
so they feel like we can fix you. And he would
not
be a
only
fit.
that, but there's no place else that you can sell. He beat Nick Saban like you can at Auburn.
100%. Nobody beats Nick Saban like Hugh Freeze. Nailed it.
Oh,
You
the
got
bell
all
was
the
warmed
dings.
up.
It was.
Got it warmed up.
There we go.
It was nice and sunny and 70 today.
Yeah.
Came to play. That's a fantastic point, Mo. I agree wholeheartedly. I hadn't thought about it, but Auburn would be the perfect place for him.
If Brian Harsin ends up anywhere else,
That might be their first phone call, and it might be their only phone call.
if it's their first one, it will be
he's
their
not turning
only.
it down.
Because he's got to take Auburn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he would love it. And he would do well there.
Oh man.
Who was it that you said was throwing out Gus Malzahn for openings?
Oh, LS, I don't know who it was,
But they're idiots.
but yeah,
Whoever it was.
yeah. Gus Malzahn to LSU? No.
Much like Hugh Freeze is a fit. Gus Malzahn was a fit at Auburn, and that's about the only place he was going to be a fit.
Right.
I mean, he's not even a fit at Central Florida.
Apparently.
Anyway, just, Brent Venables probably wishing he would have got out when he could. Of course, again, Clemson's defense pretty darn good. But outside of that,
Yeah, Venables getting paid though, and he may not be a head guy. He may not want to be a head guy. I mean, I don't know. I don't know
you
if
can
he said
always
that.
go back, man.
Yeah.
You can always go back to being a DC.
But sometimes you're happy doing that, and he's getting paid what, $4 million.
He's the highest
One
paid.
of the highest paid coordinators
Yeah.
in the country. Yeah.
Good gig.
Yeah, you can make suggestions and get paid. Yes, please.
Yeah, and even right now, I mean, it's not his fault. It's a head coach.
And there's something to be said for that.
Yep.
It's been 2 years. Chris Peterson was burnt out in 2019. Is he still burnt out?
That's a strange one.
57 years old.
He looks like he's 37.
I know. Well, I mean, Saban's what?
70.
70, and
Just
he
turned
looks
70 on
like
Halloween.
he's 50. So
He's looking closer to 60.
he is now.
You watched that
5 years ago.
that commercial
Those
with
Affleck
Prime,
commercials?
yeah, where he's looked like he hadn't lost a step.
Yeah, you do.
But I mean, Chris Peterson.
Where? Back at
anywhere-
Washington?
Potentially.
Oh, that
That
doesn't
would-
happen again, does it?
I mean, it would be up to Washington, I think.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, he had you in the college football playoff. You call
did.
him and say, "Hey, how you feeling?"
You about ready to come on back? You see what happens when you leave?
I mean, and that doesn't create a domino. I mean, not that matters to Washington, but very well could, especially if Mario Cristobal decides to come back this way wherever. So, who knows?
Well, if Mario Cristobal decides to come back east,
Chris Peterson might say, "I'll go to Oregon."
or they elevate Joe Moorhead, plug and play.
Very well could be, yeah. I don't know. I'm just throwing out names because this is what
It's kind of the silly season, and with so many openings
is.
in particular. And again, I don't think we've had a year where we've had this many openings before Thanksgiving. Good Lord.
No kidding.
we got plenty to talk about over turkey. If you're a Braves fan, there's plenty to talk about. We will talk about it on the other side of the top of the hour. Stick around. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Day returns after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, While we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
From preps to pros and everything in between, it's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Live from the Lee Company studio. With the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yao.
Welcome back in Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Mo wearing his two-tone blue.
Argyle. Yeah.
Gotta love it.
Kids, Google it. The pattern Argyle. Google it.
You might have to spell it for him.
Hey, great winery, by the way.
Oh, is it?
My favorite wine is from the Argyle Winery up in the Willamette Valley in Oregon. Pinot Noir.
Say that again.
Pinot Noir.
No.
The Willamette Valley. Yes.
Okay, Willamette.
Willamette.
Okay. See, I'd always read it Willamette,
I had two, or Williamette.
but I've never been there.
Yep.
So.
I had it wrong until I got there. Yeah.
Kind of like Santa Fe.
feel better.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a mistake you only make once there.
That's right.
Yeah. It's like the new person I worked with once who said that they were going to cover a football game in Smyrna. And
They still say that on TV news all the time.
And I tried to warn them, and they hit me with the whatever. I'm like, all right then, go on over there and refer to Smyrna. Let me know how it goes.
You might get your face smeared.
Smyrna, exactly.
No question. Hey, when we got off the air last night, the college football playoff rankings were released, and it, took 30 minutes to do because that's ridiculous, but whatever. Couple of things. Obviously, the first 7 teams didn't change, including Michigan State, but we'll get to that later. Can somebody tell me why Mississippi State is still ranked? I know they beat Auburn.
Boom, there you go.
That's all you need to know.
Okay, but here's the thing. and I know we've trashed on Clemson a lot this year, but Clemson's better than Mississippi State. Their defense is really good.
I'd agree with that.
And they're not ranked. Their only 3 losses, NC State, Georgia, and somebody else is ranked. Whoever the other one is also a ranked.
Is it Pittsburgh? Have they played
Did
Pittsburgh?
Pitt beat them?
Yes.
Virginia.
Pittsburgh.
Pitt.
No, it was Pitt. So they lost to 3 teams in the top 25. And you're telling me 7-3 Clemson doesn't deserve to be in over 6-4 Mississippi State? That's a little. I'm gonna.
Well, I mean, you're talking about the number 25 spot. I mean, how much do we really care?
Well, I guess my point is, if we're gonna have this committee, I think they just completely wrote Clemson off after the NC State loss, right?
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
And here's okay, but if you're gonna do that, why are you ranking NC State if you're writing teams off because they lost to them? You know what I mean? Like, the committee doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
The committee doesn't have any consistency to it.
None.
Yeah, and
whatsoever. Even from 3 to 4 to 6 and 7 doesn't have any consistency.
Yep. But I mean, once you realize that they're inconsistent and that they're not applying their logic in the same manner from 1 to 25,
you just got to go.
Take it all with a grain of salt.
You're
it's
like
whatever.
Clearly, somebody must have been over there getting a cheese Danish when they were deciding who 25 was. Because,
what you got against cheese Danishes, Chris?
I'm just saying they were busy.
That's our go-to in a continental breakfast.
Oh,
Come on.
gosh.
Boom.
Give me a cheese Danish over just about anything. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you look at these rankings, and to me, it's just odd. So, I don't know. I mean, you've got Wisconsin at 15 is interesting because it's like they just pretended like September didn't happen.
It's a long time ago.
And that's the thing is 7-3 Wisconsin right now is a pretty good football team.
Well, here's what I'm taking out of what, hearing Barta last night.
He's a joke.
Capital J.
He's just the guy that gets the unenviable task of
trying to explain
what the committee does. Who knows what he thinks? I don't know, but he's the one that has to go out there. But here's what I'm taking, is that it is the ultimate what have you done for me lately? And and more importantly, what have you done for me last week?
Outside of the top 10.
Yeah.
From 10 to 25,
Yep.
they're actually ranking teams based the way that they should be ranking teams. But 1 through 10, they have to account for wins and losses.
They're taking more of the full body and everything else, and there's no, but in each case, it's really a straight feel thing.
From 11 to 25,
Yeah.
I feel like if they ranked the entire top 25 the way that they have ranked 11 through 25, I would feel better about what they're doing. I would feel better about a college football committee. The reason we got away from the committee was to stop worrying about wins and losses. I mean,
And to get
the
best
full
teams.
body. Right.
Yeah. Just looking at 1 through 25, those 2 6-win teams, like you said, Wisconsin and Mississippi State, they just kind of stick out like a sore thumb.
And yet Wisconsin, pretty good. Again, if you take September away, they've been really good the last couple of months. And same thing with Arkansas.
Coming on strong.
I mean, Arkansas 7-3. They moved up 4 spots because they beat LSU. They beat LSU in overtime, and after Alabama, they didn't punish Alabama for barely beating them, so they couldn't punish Arkansas either. And Arkansas did it on the road, not at home. So I mean, it's just. I think it's impressive the way that they have ranked 11 through 25, and I wish they would do that from top to bottom. And they kind of did that with their Michigan State logic, right? Well, we just think Michigan's the better football team, despite what happened on the field.
Which is fine. How the
results be damned.
The problem is Oregon.
They used that argument for Oregon that they beat Ohio State. Now, granted, Oregon at the shoe, and they kind of dominated that game.
But it was a long time ago.
It was, but they
and
they
Ohio
were
State's a lot better.
They were the better
so
team.
So wins expire then?
Losses do.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I don't think wins do. I think losses do.
I think they really
so
are
Oregon's
looking at
win doesn't go away, but Ohio State's loss goes away.
Kind of like Michigan State. Yes.
Well, I'm not a big fan of the Michigan State situation.
I'm not either.
Honestly.
I'm just saying that I think that's the way that they're looking at it.
Well, that's what and Barta also mentioned yesterday that all the analytics, all the stats suggest Michigan is a better football team. Except
the final score.
Well,
when they played each other.
That the refs screwed up. I'm just saying, yes, you're right. I mean, don't get me wrong. I agree, especially if it was 2 weeks ago. If Michigan State played in week 2 and it was 46-43, then sure. Absolutely. You can, but 2 weeks ago? Nah. Come on now.
That's tough.
Come on now.
But it's going to sort itself out.
It will.
I mean,
well, you say that, but I mean, if Michigan.
What if they both beat Ohio State?
That would be the one. That would be the one kicker.
Wow.
Then what do you do? Well, I mean, wouldn't you have to look at who beat Ohio State more?
I don't know what they'd have to look at.
You would have to look at Michigan State beat Michigan, and you cannot put one in over the other.
Well, at that point,
you would have. Ideally, you would look at Michigan State beat Michigan and Ohio State.
Here's the thing. Is then which of those two? Which one? I guess Michigan State would go to the Big Ten championship game. Would also have to win
against Wisconsin, more than likely.
And if they lose, then Michigan gets in despite beating
backdoor
because they didn't have to play.
Or Notre Dame gets in.
They get the Alabama invite to the Final Four,
just like
without playing for a conference.
When Auburn beat Georgia and Alabama that year, and then those two played for the national title.
And Auburn,
So I mean, boy, that'd be interesting. That's a scenario I'd not thought of, Mo, and that's a good one. I like that one. I would rather them both win now and Oregon lose. That way we get Cincinnati and somebody else.
By the way, Oregon,
Notre Dame.
Oregon is a dog on the road.
I saw that to Utah. Friday's going to be fun. I mean, man, that's a really interesting scenario there, Mo. I'd not thought about that, but if they both beat Ohio State, they're jumping Cincinnati.
Oh yeah,
So
Both of them?
Either, yeah. Well, maybe.
Oh, if you jump one, don't you have to jump the other?
I think you do.
That poor Cincinnati. And Oregon doesn't lose, and you're just sitting there going,
Yep.
What can I what else could I have done? Which again, here's the thing. Here is the thing. Houston now ranked,
That's true.
which is huge
For Cincinnati.
for Cincinnati because Houston's already punched their ticket to the championship game, to the AAC championship.
Right.
Cincinnati still needs to beat SMU. Cincinnati beats SMU, who is unfortunately not ranked anymore. They still get, you got to hope,
Thanks to
obviously,
Houston,
that
by the
Houston
way.
beats Memphis. You got to hope that Houston beats
Yeah,
Memphis.
Houston has to win.
Yeah, Houston has to stay ranked long enough for Cincinnati to beat them.
And then they've got to kill Houston.
Yeah, they got to just destroy them.
They have to have the style points. I mean, you can't make any bones about it. They have to win better than
As big as they can win.
better than the other teams because of the conference they play in and the schedule that they play.
As BS as that is, it is what it is.
That's the fact,
It is.
Jack.
It sucks and it's stupid, but you're right. Man, I didn't think we could get 15 minutes out of the college football playoff.
Are you kidding me?
Nothing changed, and
And
here we are.
I don't know how much we talked about it yesterday. I know we mentioned kind of off the air. It may have just been in passing as we were going to break. But Notre Dame's sitting awfully pretty right now.
Sitting
I mean, all
pretty.
things considered, they've got an excellent shot. I think a better than average shot at making the playoffs.
Notre Dame has, I think, and I'm just throwing out a percentage, I think they've got about a 40% chance of getting to the playoff.
But if Notre Dame gets in, then doesn't Cincinnati get in?
I think yes. That's
how it would happen, yeah.
We're thinking that Ohio State, Michigan, and Michigan State all have 2 losses, and then Oregon also loses.
Oregon loses.
That everybody except Cincinnati ahead of Notre Dame loses at least once more.
And Alabama loses to Georgia.
And so then you're talking
Even if Alabama beats Georgia, Alabama has nothing to do with it. Oregon, Ohio State, Michigan State all have 2 losses. Then Notre Dame's in with Cincinnati. It's Alabama, Georgia.
So then you, some combination of Georgia, Alabama, Ole Miss, Cincinnati.
Yes, Ole Miss.
Georgia, Alabama, Notre Dame, Cincinnati.
Notre
right?
Dame, Ole Miss, same difference,
Yeah.
really. I mean, both have a false sense of self-worth.
Georgia, Alabama, Notre Dame, Cincinnati is your 4 at that point. Then is that right?
Then,
And
if
some-
Alabama loses, then what do you do?
Ole Miss. I don't know.
I mean, Oklahoma State could backdoor their way in if they win the Big 12.
It's possible.
Could you see that?
It's possible.
Oklahoma State, Notre Dame, Cincinnati, and Georgia. Georgia wouldn't even have to show up. Oh man, let's keep going. We got to talk Braves on the other side of this segment, so stick around. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Day returns after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Covering the teams you care about. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Once again, live from the Lee Company studio with the Hall of Famer Mo Patton. Here's Chris Yao.
When the Braves play, we're talking about it. When the Braves are trying to sign Freddie Freeman, we're talking about it. Of course, they're not trying too hard, apparently.
When the Braves are trying to sign Justin Verlander, we're talking about him.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Justin Verlander would be an interesting piece to this team.
I think he would be the piece that Cole Hamels was supposed to be 2 years ago. I don't think we necessarily need him like we needed Cole Hamels 2 years ago, because I think the young guys that Hamels was supposed to mentor
Are
don't
good.
necessarily need mentoring now, but he could certainly eat some innings.
Much better than Drew Smiley.
You know what? I don't know that I'm going to sit here and listen to Drew Smiley slander from you after the postseason, that performance that he had.
No, I'm just saying, like, I mean, if you're talking about a guy who needs to eat innings and that's what we want him to do,
Well, no, he did not.
he would be what, he would be a better fit than Drew Smiley. Now,
You'd
Drew
like to
Smiley
think.
was the guy in the postseason. Well
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
We don't win the NLCS without him.
Yeah. So no Drew Smiley slander.
But he would, as far as for the regular season, if we're going to play 162, I'm not sure we're going to. But if we're going to play 162, I'd rather have Verlander than Smiley, I think.
Yeah. And think about this for a minute. If you're talking about Max Fried, Charlie Morton, Ian Anderson,
Huascar?
Enoa or Kyle Wright,
Wright.
some combination thereof, and Verlander to open the year, and thinking you're going to get Mike Soroka back at some point.
What do you do? How do you deal with that?
You figure something out, but I mean, if you smoke them, if you got them, it's a great problem to have.
Has there ever been a 7-man rotation? We're throwing guys out there every 7th day.
Hey, it's a great problem to have.
Yeah. I mean,
having a Justin Verlander in your locker room, in your clubhouse, I don't think would be a bad thing. So, of course, this won't happen.
of course not. No.
This is why we can't have nice things. But it's certainly out there, and they seem to have interest in each other. And David O'Brien said that the Braves check all the boxes for Verlander. They're a contender. They're on the East Coast, and they go to spring training in Florida. So
Here's my question about that, though. Verlander's only coming if the DH is coming. He's not hitting. He's never hit.
I don't know that that's going to be something that keeps a guy from coming.
I mean, I feel like if my options are the Braves or the White Sox,
Where I don't have to hit?
Yeah.
I just don't think that's a factor. That's interesting. I would love to find
If that is a factor.
I would love to talk to a pitcher, and I may see if we can get somebody just to talk about how much hitting or not hitting.
Ever hit?
Yeah. I bet he raked too. Well, I mean, he won a Cy Young with the Mets.
That's right. He did. He was with the Mets. That's right.
Yeah.
I was thinking that was with the Jays for some reason.
No, he got traded to the Jays after winning the Cy Young.
Okay. I guess that's where that came in. But let's see. Let's see what he did as a hitter, because I'm curious now.
I think hitters like hitting. I mean,
pitchers?
Yeah, that too. I think pitchers like hitting.
I think some of them do. Career 169. That's pretty good.
It ain't bad.
No.
I bet he's got a jack too, doesn't he?
He hit 255 as a 35-year-old with the Mets. 255 in
Which was probably better than at least one of their starters.
in 61 plate appearances. That's pretty good. 5 ribbies. Man. Never hit a homer though.
He's a competitor.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Apparently Verlander has now signed with the Astros.
Wow.
As we're talking about it.
Jeez. Never mind. Where he won't be hitting, by the way.
Yep. $25 million.
For 1 year?
1 year. No wonder we're not signing
He
him.
wasn't going to get that out of Atlanta. Yeah. Yeah. So,
No.
well, good for him. Happy for him.
Literally happened 18 minutes ago. Thanks to Chuck Yow for the for the heads up.
Showrunner Chuck Yow. Thanks.
Had we talked about this at the top of the hour, it would have been relevant. Again,
when we were scheduled to.
he didn't have to
Yeah.
hit in Houston, and they're a contender. So,
Well, as
That's
long as
unfortunate.
we're talking about breaking news,
oh yeah,
yeah,
you got some?
yeah. At ESPN_women hoop.
Women hoop?
Women hoop.
They do, in fact.
The women's the women's NCAA tournament field will expand to 68 teams beginning this season, and the bracket will be revealed on Sunday, March 13. So, the women's tournament bracket will resemble the men's tournament bracket with the first four that the men play in Dayton. However, for the 2022 championship only, the 4 opening round games will be conducted on the campuses of teams seeded in the top 16. Beginning with the 2023 championship, the first 4 games will be conducted at a to-be-determined neutral site. So, I think some of the heat that the NCAA took over the gender-based disparities of the tournament last year, I think this is a immediate or a direct reaction to some of that. So, whatever it takes, this is good.
For that neutral site, might I suggest
Bridgestone?
Bridgestone Arena?
Hey.
NCAA.
Hey.
Knock, knock, knock. Mark Emmert.
Hint.
If you're looking,
Yep.
we know a place. We know some folks.
And we do enjoy our women's basketball around here.
I would be willing to bet we enjoy it more than most anybody in the metro area. I really like watching women's basketball. I don't know what it is, but I enjoy it. So, going back to the Braves and Freddie Freeman, if a 6th year is really a sticking point, they need to fire everybody.
Everybody.
A 6th year?
Yeah, because I was concerned with him possibly wanting 8 years.
And apparently he just wants 6.
Just 6.
Sign the man.
Let's get this over with.
I mean, he's 32, right?
Yeah.
So this gets you to 38, but the DH is coming. The new CBA that comes out before the next baseball season begins will include the universal DH. It's happening. We can argue about it. We can be upset about it, but it doesn't matter. It's happening.
The way this Braves roster looks right now,
I'm in.
Count me in for the DH. I mean, I like seeing pitchers hit.
We can have Darno DH while Pena throws runners out.
Well, I mean, you got all sorts of options, and like I said, I like the strategy that comes with pitchers having to hit.
Mm-hmm.
I like the National League game a lot better than the American League game for that reason. But at the same time,
offense is fun. Especially
winning is fun,
especially
too.
if you've got Soler, Rosario, Duvall, which hopefully we have him back, and then Acuna whenever we get him,
right?
Who apparently is already running on the treadmill, so could be back by May. I don't know.
So, yeah. I don't.
Although I will say this, I would like for Ronald Acuna Jr. to at least have to make a rehab appearance for Gwinnett that happens to be around the time that they're, in Nashville. If I can make a request,
yeah,
can we make that happen?
I think every opponent of Gwinnett is hoping to get Gwinnett on the road early in the year. Yeah,
yeah. Yes, please. Yes. Thank you,
Ronald Acuna in our stadium. Yes, please. Yeah.
Manager of the year goes to Kapler. Absolutely deserved, in my opinion. I mean, I hate the guy. I
just don't know how he got so much better between Philadelphia and San Francisco.
Well, there's a lot of country in the middle of there. I'm not saying I mean he wasn't a bad manager in Philadelphia.
Yeah, he was.
He just but when you get to San Francisco and you've got Kevin Gossman pitching like he's freaking, Cy Young. What are you going to do? I don't think that he had anything. I don't think anything Kapler did was
Exactly.
the difference, but they did win 107 games and certainly shouldn't have been Brian Snicker, I can tell you. I mean, if we're voting at the end of the regular season.
I don't like the fact that these awards are voted on and the postseason has no impact on them. I don't know that the postseason should have all the impact, but I don't think it should have no impact, if that makes sense. Does that make sense, JP?
If you wanted to.
No, seriously. I mean,
I hear what you're saying. Yeah, there should be some consideration for the postseason.
I just feel like the fact that
it's hard to separate the two, though.
And it's not. I'm not even necessarily concerned with the manager of the year because I didn't care if Brian Snitker got it or not. But Alex Anthopoulos,
not
the way
getting
he
GM?
retooled this roster on the fly and won a World Series as a result.
Won 41 games in the second half.
And, I just feel like because this was voted on at the end of the regular season, when you didn't see the full impact of Rosario, Duvall, Soler, Peterson, I think he deserves more consideration for GM of the year than he probably got.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, that was a crime. Who got it? The Giants GM too?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's not zero chance that the Braves win 41 games without Alex Anthopoulos.
Yeah.
I mean, we should have been sellers. But
as Jock Peterson pointed out.
And instead, we were buyers and won a World Series because of it.
And we were those.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter. All I know is if the 6 years what's holding up Freddie, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Sign
get over
the man.
yourself. Get him signed.
If there's any way to keep that outfield semi-intact, at least 3 of the 4. I mean, I don't think I mean, I'm happy to watch Jock walk. Let him go. I think he brought everything that team needed mentally, but I don't think we're going to need it next year.
I think Jock's impact was more a postseason impact than a regular season impact. I'd like to see what Rosario and Soler and Duvall can bring to the Braves over the course of a full season.
Well, we probably don't win the division if Jock doesn't, him and Stephen Vogt don't get in there and say, hey, let's liven up this joint.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody was with their heads down, and he comes in and he's got that swag like we talked about. He brought the swag back. And, yeah, I don't think we're going to need that next year, is my point. Mm-hmm. So if he's got to go, he's the one I'm picking. If somebody's got to go, he's the one I'm picking.
If you can't have swag after winning the World Series,
you don't deserve to have swag.
Yeah.
I think Soler's got plenty.
Yeah.
He announced that quickly. It's Wild and Wacky Wednesday. We're going to give you the weirdest and wildest news from across the world, or at least the United States. I don't know. I haven't even looked at, what we're going to talk about yet. So there's that. But it will be weird and wild news coming your way on the other side of the break. So stick around on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
It's Wild and Wacky Wednesday on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today with the two zaniest guys this side of the Duck River. It's like you joined a circus or something. Here's Chris and Mo.
Welcome back in Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today.
I love it. You get cracked up every time.
Every time.
I love it.
It's only because I live on the other side of the Duck River now.
Yeah, that you do.
Oh, man. Hey, I got a quick question for you guys. Speaking of wild and wacky, because this is a little, this isn't really wild and wacky necessarily. But I think this was interesting. When do you use deodorant? Like, when do you put your
Is this
deodorant
a trick
on?
question?
When do you put your deodorant on?
What if I don't? No.
After a shower.
Yeah, after you shower, before you put your clothes on.
Uh-huh.
In the morning.
If I take a shower in the morning, yeah.
Whenever I take a shower.
Yeah.
So it could be the night before.
Whenever I take a shower.
Apparently, you're supposed to do it the night before.
Okay.
Says who?
You sweat less while you're asleep, which gives the active ingredients more time to absorb into your skin. Most types are meant to last 24 to 48 hours, so it'll still work the next day. That is...
What if you wash it off in the shower?
Well, this is the point.
Is it already in there?
I guess what they're saying is shower at night. Don't shower in the morning.
No. No.
Doesn't work with the hair.
I have to shower to wake up.
I don't know. I'm just saying that's what this says, and I thought that was an interesting little fact and tidbit that apparently
I don't know that it's a fact, but it's interesting. Yeah. I mean, whenever.
Well, the fact is that it works better if used at night because it gives the active ingredients time to soak in.
Okay.
All
Who
right.
knows? Anyway,
Yeah.
just thought.
Strike one on a wild and wacky.
Well, that wasn't supposed to be wild and wacky. It was just. I'm looking.
It caught your attention.
It did catch my attention. I was like, "Well, I've been doing this wrong my whole life."
Yeah.
Like, since that's okay, cool. I've been doing a lot. I have learned.
Yeah.
If you ever see the life hack things on, on the internet, wherever you see life hacks, like I feel like I've been doing a lot of things wrong my whole life.
Probably have.
There are things that you're just like, how did I not know that's what that was for? Or, like straining water out of pasta. I always just dump it into the strainer. You put the strainer into the pot and flip it over, and it doesn't come out of the pot. I thought that was interesting.
Hold on. Come back with that.
Put the strainer
Yeah.
inside the pot.
Yeah, there are pots that include strainers.
And then
There are
flip it
some
over.
strainers that are not designed to go in the pot though.
Right. But like,
So if you don't have one of those,
I was like,
the basket.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, if you don't have one of those pasta baskets,
Pasta basket.
then you have to
Lord.
You actually throw it in
the
there
sink and
yeah. Well, see, I've not done that now. Now that I have, and I don't have a pasta basket. I just have a little Betty Crocker strainer from.
you boil the pasta in the strainer?
No, I take the strainer, put it inside the pot, and then turn the pot over.
Oh.
And
I
then
think
just
that's
flip
what
it
most
back
people
over.
do.
They don't just pour it into the strainer bowl into the sink. Put the strainer in the sink, pour the pasta into it,
Yeah.
then put it back into the pot. That's what I used to do.
If you're adding sauce and other things back into that pot.
I always put my sauce on the inside. Anyway, just life hacks are interesting. I'm just saying. I'm really stalling here because we don't have a whole lot of wild and wacky. But I do have one. Did you guys see the DoorDash driver or the Uber Eats driver who left the food on the doorstep? They left it outside of an apartment, right?
That's where you're supposed to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then,
okay.
well, apparently these people had a Ring doorbell.
Okay.
And the Uber Eats driver saw the doorbell,
Yep.
comes in from the left, puts down the food, takes a picture like they're supposed to do for the Uber Eats app,
Yep.
Then he grabs it.
exits to the other side. So in from one side, puts the food down, exits the other side of the frame, right? You're watching this on the Ring camera.
Okay.
25 seconds later, a person with a pink wig and a blue dress comes back by, picks up the food, and walks off. That has nothing to do with this particular story. I just saw that, but this is another DoorDash driver who delivered food to a radio DJ, much like our friends here at WKOM and WZYX. A radio host
In a pink wig and a blue dress?
No,
Okay.
no. So Lisa, who's a host on K Earth 101 in Los Angeles, who, by the way, it's a funny story. I met a guy last night at trivia who said that his radio was already programmed to 101.7 because he used to listen to K Earth in L.A. So didn't even see that coming. Lisa Stanley made a complaint to DoorDash because a female driver delivered her food and then cleaned out the tank.
Her tank?
Her tank. In a trash can.
Oh.
A nearby trash can in a lobby of her apartment building. Happened Friday. Lisa didn't know about it till someone else in her building said there was a serious mess in the lobby.
Literally.
She posted security footage on Twitter. It looks like the DoorDash lady partially missed the trash can, or at least part of what she left behind ended up on the rim. Yeah. Gave her a $20 credit and returned the tip. She left. So there's that. Why? Why are we doing this? They don't got public restrooms in LA? I don't know. I've been there like once.
I guess sometimes when you gotta go,
You gotta go.
you gotta go.
Well, it could be worse. You guys been to the airport?
You
to
gonna
see
tell
those-
us why it could be worse?
Oh yeah, you guys been to the airport, right? You've been through the TSA and all that trash. It's awful.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
Loads of fun.
It really is. It's just a boatload of fun. Well, freedom means different things to different people. But no reasonable person wants you to have the freedom to do any of what I'm about to say. A 44-year-old man named Frank Towers was arrested in Minneapolis on Friday after he got naked at the airport and started,
Emptying his tank?
No. He
Oh,
was,
no.
yeah.
Okay.
Then he got into it with a TSA agent who threatened to kill him. And when the airport police told him to stand down, he refused because it's a free country.
Oh, God.
Yeah. When they confronted him, he just picked up he had just picked up a stanchion post and was swinging it around like a weapon. Then he
This is
threw
getting worse.
He threw it at the TSA agent. The cops confront him. That's when he drops it, and that's when he dropped the "It's a free country" line. They eventually had to tase him.
I've been in that airport
Ah,
twice.
luckily you didn't see this.
Yeah. I'm glad I missed that.
Move on before anything else comes out of that.
All right, so here's one of the big things that I have a problem with in the Nashville metro area. All right. Our traffic is not the worst I've ever dealt with. I've been to Atlanta. But it's not the best. It could be better. And it would be better if someone at least monitored the carpool lane. Am I right or am I right?
You're right.
It's useless. Why do we have it if we're not going to monitor it, right? In New York, they monitor it.
They do in Atlanta.
So much so that, well, a guy on Long Island got pulled over Thursday for dressing his entire passenger seat up like a person. Draped a winter coat over it, pulled the hood up over the headrest, and put a baseball cap on it.
Yeah.
Pulled the bill down to hide the fact that it was a headrest and not a person. A cop saw him drive by, thought something about the passenger didn't quite look right, so they pulled him over, posted a picture of it online. They gave him a ticket for using the HOV lane without a passenger and then sent him on his way, which is fine. Like, can we just do that? Please? Anybody? I mean, it annoys me so much. When I mean,
Clearly.
anyway, I just don't know why we wasted the paint. It's like crosswalks. Crosswalks are a waste of paint in Tennessee. Pedestrians always have the right of way. Just a waste of paint. I'm just saying.
This is becoming a weekly Festivus airing of his grievances.
I got something to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris Yao Festivus.
Well, this 21-year-old man that I'm about to talk about aired his grievances. Actually, he aired his confession in a game of Truth or Dare. 3 years ago, a 94-year-old woman died in a house fire in England, and at the time it was thought to just be an accident because, well, she was a heavy smoker who suffered from dementia. Tragically, it turns out the fire was set by her then 18-year-old step-grandson, and he was caught because he admitted to it, sort of. He confessed during a game of Truth or Dare, allegedly said, quote, "I have a secret I haven't told anyone. I may have killed someone."
Mo, isn't that what sometimes you say that's a level of competitiveness maybe that you aspire to?
There you go.
Got to win Truth or Dare. I'm airing it all.
May have killed someone. Perhaps, possibly.
Turns out it was, in fact, intentional, and he told his counselor about this, and that is when the case was reopened. So. Not ideal. Don't do that.
That conscience.
Yeah,
a heavy
conscience
thing.
will get you. It'll get you. Normally, I don't like to continue with naked people, but this one's too good.
But
this one's too good because
no pun intended.
One, it's Pittsburgh, and that's just that's an interesting place.
Naked in Pittsburgh, huh?
Naked at this time of year in this economy.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Sorry. Lawyers love to fight, don't they? A family court lawyer in Pittsburgh named Jeffrey Pollock was on his way into court yesterday and had to go through a metal detector. He walked through and the alarm went off, so security made him check his pockets and go back through, but it went off again. He said it was probably my suspenders, but he didn't want to take them off because, well, when you take off your suspenders, your pants fall down. Well, he got into an argument with the guards and did eventually remove his suspenders. The problem was he also removed his pants. He got fed up, dropped his pants, put them in the bin, walked through the metal detector in his shirt and underwear. It was standing in the lobby, pantsless, when sheriff deputies showed up. They arrested him, and now he's facing charges for disorderly conduct.
Yeah, at least he decided to wear drawers that day.
Here's my question. If he's a lawyer and he was representing someone, what happened to their case?
Yeah.
Ooh. Hey, look, I'm just asking. I don't know. Anyway, that's going to do it for Wild and Wacky Wednesday. Weird and wild news from across the world.
Do you feel better now after all that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wish I had told you about the cow who got on a water slide and earned its freedom. But it is what it is. Oh, man. Tomorrow is high school football. We're going to talk high school football. We'll have Will Hester on from Ravenwood High School to talk about their big game with Summit. And we will tell you about we will break down games in the coverage area. So come back tomorrow. We appreciate it. 4 o'clock for Mo Patton and JP Plant. I'm Chris Yao saying have a great day and stay cool, Columbia.